Have you had trouble drafting the second base position in years past for fantasy baseball? Well, don't worry about it this year because we could be looking at a lot of value. Hey, what's going on, Headliner Nation? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Headliners, another positional ranking video here, talking about second baseman tonight. We're going to speed this one up a little bit. So the other positional ranking videos have been a little bit on the longer side. We're going to shorten this one up. So before we get going, make sure if you have any questions about any of these players, if there was one I didn't go in depth enough for you, ask below. We're one of the most interactive sports channels on YouTube. Hit us with your questions and comments below and we will get back to you. Make sure you like the video, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet, and let us know if you do so we can welcome you to Headliner Nation. And one other thing, we are giving away a signed Trey Turner baseball right now. Head over to our Twitter handles at krich1532 or at Fantasy Headliners, FNTSY Headliners. You have to subscribe, follow, and then retweet, and that's it, and you have a chance to win that baseball. So head on over there if you have any interest in that. So let's get moving on some of these players here real quick. Starting with number 15, we're going to do the top 15 today. Starting with number 15, Jonathan Villar, out in Baltimore now. Let's just face it, it's always been about the steals with Jonathan Villar. I am not buying him this year. If you're in the late rounds of a draft and you desperately need some steals, then this would be a guy that you would grab, but you are not grabbing him to be your starting second baseman. Too much volatility with him. Number 14 is going to be Cesar Hernandez in Philadelphia. Very underrated in 2017. He hit .294 both seasons. That's really it, though. He doesn't offer a lot of pop. He did lead the league with 10 triples one season, but he's not going to offer you a whole lot outside of those hits. Now, for some reason, he can get bumped up in the order here in Philadelphia. If Bryce Harper were to sign, then maybe he becomes a little bit more valuable at this point, but this is more of a depth kind of grab here, not really a starting second baseman or someone filling in for injuries. Brian Dozier is going to come in at 13 for me. Out in Washington now after years in Minnesota. Finished up with the Dodgers last season. He really was just a huge fantasy asset back in 2016 and 2017 when he hit 42 home runs, 99 RBIs, 268, 34 home runs, 93 RBIs, 271. He's always been a guy that strikes out a lot, but because of those power numbers, RBI numbers, and his ability to swipe double-digit bags, he was a guy that was going second round in a lot of drafts. Fell off last season, though. Only hit .215, only hit 21 home runs. Not that great of a season. Could bounce back in Washington, but I'm not going to bet on it. We could be coming towards the end of the line of him being that type of a fantasy asset. But again, maybe a good guy for some depth, or if you're facing injuries off the waiver wire later on. Let's go on to Yoan Moncada out of Chicago. This is a guy that his first full season in the minors, or first full season in the majors, was full of strikeouts. 217 strikeouts last season. But keep in mind, he's only 23 years old. So I'm not going to bail on him yet at this point. He's an extremely talented player. He showed that in the minor leagues. Keep an eye on him, especially in dynasty leagues. If you play in a dynasty league, this is the guy that you want to own. Rougned Odor coming in at 11. He's been kind of a miss since his breakout year in 2016 when he hit .271 with 33 home runs, 88 RBIs, and stole 14 bags. Now, he does have double-digit steals each of the last 3 years, which is great. He did have back-to-back seasons of at least 30 home runs, and he struck out. The strikeout percentage is a little bit higher than we want to see. He still hit .253 last year, but with only 18 home runs, 63 RBIs. He did have some injuries, though. Only played in 129 games. If he can bounce back, would be really good value towards the end of your draft. Robinson Cano, now with the New York Mets. What are we going to get from Robinson Cano? Is this going to be the Robinson Cano of old or Robinson Cano post busted for PEDs? Well, last season after PEDs, he actually didn't play that bad. Coming into April and March, he hit .313 in April and March, and then he only hit .234 in 12 games in May. Again, if he knew about that suspension, it was probably weighing on him a little bit. But then he comes back in August and hits .277, and then he hits .343 in September and October. I don't expect those power numbers that he used to have to keep up. I think he's definitely a 15 type home run guy that can offer you a decent batting average around that 290 to 300 mark. But RBI opportunities, how many will be there for him in New York? DJ LeMahieu, this might be surprising a little bit because having him at number 9, he was so good in Colorado though. He's hit over the last few seasons since 2015, he's hit 301, 348, 310, 276 last season. Home runs have never really been there. RBIs have never really been there, but he's in a much, I mean, the lineup he's in now is great. He's moving from a hitter's ballpark to a hitter's ballpark, having a little bit shorter of a fence in right field to go the other way with. That could actually help him out. He could hit that 15 home run mark. So this is a guy that is going to be starting. Didi Gregorius out with Tommy John surgery, so Gleyber Torres will shift over. DJ LeMahieu will play some second base. Number 8, Jonathan Scope. I'm not going to talk about him too much. If you want some in-depth analysis there, we just did a sleepers video. Go to the sleepers video. We talk more in depth about Scope. I like him this year. Ozzie Albies from Atlanta. What are we going to get from him? Are we going to get the first half Albies or the second half Albies? Because it was completely different between the two halves. In the first half, a 281 batting average, 29 doubles, 20 home runs. Excellent season. Looked like he was going to be one of the top players in all of fantasy baseball. In the second half, though, a 226 batting average, only 4 home runs, only 11 doubles, only 17 RBIs compared to 55 in the first half. Who are you going to get? It's an extremely talented lineup. I'm going to still buy Ozzie Albies if I can get him at a good price, but I am not going to jump to get him. Gleyber Torres coming in at number 6 for me. He's in a great lineup. He's in a great ballpark. I mean, the kid had a great season last year. I definitely like him. This is why I say second base could end up being extremely deep, because if I have Torres ranked as my 6th second baseman, there's probably going to be a lot of there's probably going to be some guys that go before him, and you'll be able to sneak in and grab him and get some premium production. I could see him finishing anywhere from about this spot on the low end to the high end, all the way up towards 2 or 3. But RBI opportunities, will they be there for him? Number 5 is going to be Scooter Gennett out of Cincinnati. We got to stop the disrespect for him. Over the last 2 seasons, 295 in 2017, 310 in 2018, 27 home runs, 23 home runs, at least 90 RBIs the last 2 seasons. The guy has proved that he can be a capable fantasy asset. Again, not a guy that you're going to spend a premium price on, but a guy that you can get in the mid rounds of your draft that's really going to help you out. Daniel Murphy out in Colorado comes in at number 4. Now, it doesn't seem like there is any guarantee that Daniel Murphy is going to be the starting second baseman in Colorado based on some reports that we have heard. Does it end up happening? Yes, I think so. I think it does end up happening. So let's keep an eye on that throughout spring training. There's been talk of Mark Reynolds playing second base. Oh, please don't do that. Colorado does such a good job of blocking their own players. It kills me sometimes, but I'm buying Daniel Murphy. Not going to speak too much more again on him because he's also in our sleeper video. He was one of Jake's sleepers. Make sure you check him out. Whit Merrifield coming in at number 3. Man, this guy, I didn't buy him going into last season. I thought maybe 2017 was going to be more of a fluke, but he was one of the best players in all of baseball last season. 192 hits led the AL. 45 stolen bases led the AL. Batting average of 304. Going to get you barely into double-digit home runs. Probably isn't going to offer you a lot of RBI opportunities. But if you're in a league that really offers premiums on hits and stolen bases, then this is a guy that you're definitely taking a look at. Also walked 61 times. Could easily finish in the top 5 of second baseman with no issues. Javier Baez is coming in at number 2. There's some talk that this is a guy that might regress because he did so many things great last season that if we look at him and say, oh, is that what we're going to expect? It's just not going to happen. Baez is a tremendous talent. I really like him. I don't think he offers you quite the season that he had last year, but a good enough season that I'm still going to put him at number 2. Coming in at number 1, finishing out the rankings, going to be Jose Altuve. Look, one bad season. I'm not going to drop him from there. Kid has shown us time and time again, and I say kid, guy has shown us time and time again that he should always be one of your top fantasy targets. Now, not going at like 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 like he was last year, but a guy that if you take him in the second round, even early second round, I'm okay with that. I don't know if I would take him as early as the end of the first round because I don't really think he's going to reach that point with his ADP, but I think you could get him in the second round easily and establish your second base position early on. But again, like I mentioned, if you aren't able to do that, that's fine. Keep track of these guys as you go through the draft. You could get a lot of value as we run through, and some of these guys tend to fall. Just over the 10-minute mark. Like I said, we were going to make this one a little bit shorter, but that is my top 15 second basemen heading into the 2019 season. Again, if there's someone that is missing, if there's an order here that you prefer to switch around, if you want a little bit more reaction about one of these players, comment below, question, ask, whatever it is, let us know. One of the most interactive channels here on YouTube will be more than welcome to answer your questions and return your comments. I'm Kyle Richardson. Again, follow me on Twitter at krich1532. Don't forget, we're giving away that signed Trey Turner baseball. Go get a chance to pick that up for yourself to put on your mantle as we head into the 2019 season. Thanks so much for stopping by. Keep an eye out for all of our other videos, and we will catch you then. Thanks so much.